Welcome back to Sunday Funday! Yay!
Hola.
Yes, this one is with me again, though.
I'm decoration.
Yeah, she didn't get to go see the movie with me.
I had to work.
Yeah. And as you can see, the movie we saw was the very short name Sully. Yeah, well, my brother went to see it with me, so hey.
But he's not in this video.
Yeah. So, quick early thoughts about Sully. It was alright. I was really, it wasn't that I was dreading this movie, I just didn't care.
You thought it was going to be boring.
Yeah, I haven't really cared for very many of Clint Eastwood's other movies. Flags of Our Fathers, people loved. I didn't like it all. It's supposed to be about Iwo Jima. Iwo Jima. And it was actually surprisingly really boring. And it was mostly just about this one guy. And I know it's like, oh, we're focused on this one guy. Alright, cool. He wasn't in a battle that much, and very little of it was talked about with the battle itself or anything, and that's what I really want in my war film. I don't need another Thin Red Line where we have a guy sitting in a boat for 30 minutes saying stuff that sounds profound, but instead it's me doing this on the screen for 30 minutes. Which is what Flags of Our Father was. I have heard letters from Iwo Jima is better, I just haven't seen it yet. What I have seen was actually really good, but I mean, I've seen like 15 minutes of it. And that's because I caught it like right before I was about to go work. It's like, this looks pretty good. And also, I didn't like Changeling, the one with Angelina Jolie. Yeah. That's just because it just drug along and couldn't figure out what it wanted to do throughout most of that movie. I've not seen Gran Torino. I actually liked what I saw of American Sniper. That one's actually pretty good. So, I mean, I was like, maybe Clint Eastwood's got one in him. And also surprised, this movie's an hour and a half long. Mm-hmm. Like, the trailers for this movie are almost longer than the rest of the movie. And I'm not even joking you. There were 30 minutes of trailers. Mostly trailers I've seen already. So it's like, oh my god.
It's like, where's my fast forward button?
Yeah, just skip. Come on, let's skip. But yes, about Sully. Like I said, I was genuinely kind of surprised. I thought this was actually a good movie. Are you going to walk away changed? No, you're going to be like, that was a good movie that I might get if for $5 at Walmart one of these days. It is a perfectly good movie that is fine. You're going to probably, some of it's going to stick with you for a little bit. Nothing super memorable about it. But nothing that you're going to just be like, oh, no, I don't even remember I even saw that. Mm-hmm. Like, there was some movie earlier this year that I didn't even like that I realized was very unmemorable, and that was The Huntsman. Like, even though I hated it, and I watched my video, I realized I don't remember much about that damn movie. Except for I just didn't like it at all. So, it was, oh yeah, I saw that piece of shit. But... yeah, Sully, if you're wondering what the hell it is, because you have not seen the trailers for it, is about the miracle on the Hudson, the landing of the U.S. Airways. I can't remember what flight it is, but when one airline pilot had to land the plane on the Hudson River.
Sullenberger is the name.
Yeah,
Sully for short.
Chelsea Sullenberg. Yes, his first name is Chelsea. I do know this much because at the very end they have his name, Captain Chelsea Sullenberg.
That is like Chester.
No, it's Chelsea. Chelsey. Yeah, his parents hated him. It's like, wow, you couldn't have gave your kid a worse name if you tried. And I think if I can talk about some of the bad with the movie, I think the biggest issue with this movie, and the reason why I cannot really recommend you go out and go see it right now if I'm jumping to my or final opinions at the very end, is that a lot of this doesn't feel necessary. In fact, this movie doesn't exactly feel necessary. Unlike the
Chesley.
Yeah, whatever. I can't pronounce it. It looks like Chelsea to me.
The L and the S are...
It's still close enough that people would call him Chelsea. But either way, about the actual movie, because we don't give a shit about his name.
He's a third, is what he is.
Ooh.
So it's not
but
that
I don't care.
hate him.
I don't care.
I'm just saying.
I don't care.
I'm just saying.
But about the actual movie, which is more important than about a guy's name.
You're important.
Really? Just the same. But about the movie, this isn't adding anything to the story. What we already know about the Miracle at Hudson, mostly because of our inundation with so much media and just it's in every little aspect. We TMZ every little thing. We have to have these stupid fucking troglodytes of human beings that call themselves reporters, which are just paparazzi. Sorry, paparazzi, you're scum. If y'all all died tomorrow, no one would shed a single tear. I'm just gonna be blatant there. Very blatant. But because of that, we know this story. We know everything about it. Just about. Maybe you didn't know exactly about the NTSB hearing that originally happened, because nobody really looks beyond the headlines very often. Like, you'll read a headline, then go down in the comment section. Very few people are going to actually delve into it. But the NTSB hearings and all that were over this, they were available publicly, and everybody could see them, and they could learn what happened, how this happened, this and that. And that was that originally they tried to first say there was a possibility that we ran these different little tests and everything, virtual tests, and you could have got back to the airport. You didn't have to land the thing. They're trying to pretty much place blame on you. And they were trying to say, the engines might have possibly been working because one system was registering and still was. Even though, like, at the very end, you're like, we know how this is going to play out. It's not got the same thing as United 93, where United 93, I think, is a lot more powerful of a movie, not just because it's about a much more moment. But United 93, we didn't know the all happenings in and out, except for passengers tried to take back a plane from terrorists who were taking it over.
Yeah.
Boom. No 9/11 conspiracies. No, it did not happen that way. It actually was a missile. Fuck you. That's all I say about the conspiracy theorists. I don't care. You're stupid. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. None of y'all have even the slightest clue about avionics. Or about how buildings work. Anything. But with United 93, we didn't know the exact happenings and all of that.
Yeah.
And even to this day, we don't exactly know exactly how it all played out. We only know from phone calls, a few people who also kind of like documented themselves over the phones and all that. And kind of, to be perfectly blunt, guesswork. Here, there's a lot more actual, we know what happened because of science and actually engineering and all that. And pretty much it showed that the NTSB, original kind of pretty much going after Sully, it's kind of a hero jerking. It's like, alright, we get it, Clint. You like your heroes. Because let's just be honest here, even though American Sniper I think is actually a really good movie in terms of a very anti-war movie, I don't know if that was Clint Eastwood's original idea behind it. I think Clint Eastwood was mostly trying to just show off he thought of a good American hero. Though by accident it seemed like he actually made a really good anti-war movie in a way. By showing a person who could be considered heroic by some, murderous by others, who was just in a shit situation every moment possible.
Yeah, I don't get people calling snipers murderers. It's like, they're not the ones that make that call. It's like, they have orders from high up.
A similar argument I got into with somebody that was, and I know it's stupid to get into an argument with anybody on the internet. It's a personal pet peeve that this person said, which was that all people who join the military are just psychotic psychos. Alright, explain. How is somebody who is just following their orders a psycho? Well, they know what they're doing. No, they don't know what they're doing. They're usually put into horrible situations that don't get a choice in this matter. It's like, oh, they know. No, they don't. You think that some guy says, I want to join the military so I can be put in the middle of a city that is probably full of people who do not like me simply because of the color of my skin or by which name I call God? do you think that's what this dude from Iowa or this lady from California was thinking? No, more like anything, they were just thinking, I want to serve my country, I want to do good. Because that's actually the truth of the matter. Most of our military isn't used to fight anymore. Now it's used usually for humanitarian reasons, such as like whenever the tsunami hit in 2006, I think. The tsunami that hit killed like 200,000 people in like Malaysia and all that.
I vaguely recall what you're talking about.
But yeah, people were really kind of lambasting America because George Bush immediately sent out one of the U.S. nuclear carriers. Like, oh, were they going to bomb them? It was actually because the carrier had equipment that they could run out to shores and everything. And since it's nuclear, it pretty much doesn't run out of power. And they could sit there and power generators and everything. They were able to give people homes in all essence. Well, at least tent houses that were air conditioned, that were able to be free of bugs, which unfortunately is still a very bad thing in Southeast Asia, which is where that took place. Or other issue though. Well,
you've gone way, way off topic.
Yeah, but like I said, Clint Eastwood loves his heroes, and this you can see quite a bit of hero worship.
He's a Republican.
Yeah, he's a very staunch Republican at that. But also, he does love his heroes, and you can see a little bit more of this in Sully than you could with American Sniper. American Sniper, like I said, happened to be an anti-war movie that was woven into a hero worship movie. This one is just kind of a hero who was gone after by the evil man, a little bit in kind of a way. Pretty much it's like this corrupt kind of government thing going after him just cause, we just need a scapegoat. It's almost kind of comical. And if anything, that is the big failing of the movie, besides the fact that this is an insanely predictable movie. You know how this movie ends. Mm-hmm. If you don't know how this movie ends, then, yeah, where have you been living for the past, 20 years? That was like your father talking about whenever some of his friends who are from up north came down to San Antonio, they were going to go see the, what was it, 7 Days of Glory movie they show always at IMAX there?
Yeah, the Price of Freedom.
Yeah, it's here in Texas, in San Antonio, they're in the Riverwalk.
Theater always shows Price of Freedom, or Alamo, The Price of Freedom.
Yeah, it's on the big IMAX screen. It's very interesting. If you ever want to go see it, I would say go see it. We've seen it. You've seen it a couple times now.
Yeah, my dad took me to see it before actually taking me to the Alamo, and then you and I went to see it before I took you to see the Alamo.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you have to see the movie before the Alamo, to really appreciate.
Yeah, because literally, it's like, I think it's the length of my house difference between the theater and the Alamo.
Yeah, they're just right now.
Yeah, they're right next to each other, and and your dad was talking about their relatives or friends, and he said, it's like, yeah, it's too bad they weren't able to win out today, but as what happens. No, don't tell us how it ends. Seriously, you don't know how something ends that is a historical fact?
It's like watching a movie about World War II or the Civil War, and oh, how's it end? Gee, I wonder.
Hitler's dead at the end. Da-da-da!
I mean, unless it's an alternate...
Unless it's Inglourious Bastards, which they just kill Hitler at the end of the movie. Ooh, I ruined the movie, a 10-year-old movie. Will be... No, it's actually not that old yet. I think it's 7 years old. 2009, yeah. Inglourious Bastards. Good movie that I like to talk way too damn much. But yeah. You know this movie, and it's predictability. Yeah, predictability. Yeah, I cannot talk at all.
Him.
And it's a kind of very blatant hero worship. Again, we're used to that from Clint Eastwood, but here it's a little in your face at times. But if I can start giving this actually some good positives, and the reason why I can say this is actually a good movie, not a great movie by any chance, it's still good though, is Tom Hanks does an amazing job. At the end of the movie, they kind of show Captain Sully actually talking with people, him actually talking with the people who lived.
The actual...
Yeah, the actual captain.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah, And it's funny, Tom Hanks really nailed a lot of his mannerisms and kind of his speech patterns. It's kind of almost eerie. It's like, that's interesting. Some may say, oh, he should get an Oscar nomination. Maybe. I don't know. It's just, it's not an interesting enough story, I think, to make it go there. Also, Aaron Eckhart's really damn good in this movie. He's a supporting role, but damn was he fun to watch every second he's on screen. I wish he did more stuff. He just doesn't. I don't know why. I think Two-Face kind of killed it, because after Two-Face, I was thinking he's going to be a lot more. He really quit showing up. Not that he was in that much to begin with, but I guess it's the chin, you know. When you have a butthole in your chin, it's hard to, you know, get work anywhere.
Hey, Bruce Campbell managed to make a career out of the...
That's because he's good friends with Sam Raimi. Yeah, it's like, Bruce Campbell really is because of Sam Raimi. And so it's like, it's who you know. Yeah, there is no really bad acting throughout this movie. All of it's good. All of it's interesting. Sure, it's all hero worship. But it's not bad hero worship. It's not like if somebody were to make...
It's kind of a feel-good movie.
Yeah, it's one of those movies you want to watch and feel good about yourself. It's not a pro-America or anything kind of movie that some are going to try and claim that. I know.
Why would that be such a terrible thing?
People are, America, worst country ever, but I live here. Actually, usually they're not rednecks. Usually they're hoity-toity. That's near here nor there. It's a whole other issue.
Yeah, the rednecks are usually very patriotic.
Yeah, they just don't want you touching their moonshine. Hey, it's true. Touching their moonshine or their meth. Don't touch the two M's from the rednecks. The meth and moonshines.
You know, I have redneck relatives, and not a single one of them does, like...
That we know of. We don't know how many are runners.
Moonshine or meth. Or makes it or anything.
Or run it, you never know. Hey, there's a good way to make some good money.
I didn't think so.
No. But, neither here nor there. The hero worship stuff is, like I said, the biggest issue. Other than that, good acting, and also it's a breezy movie. It's an hour and a half long. It actually is an hour and a half. It's like, hey, this is a Clint Eastwood movie that's not 30 minutes longer than it needs to be. Though, it does feel like some of this is tacked and to push it to that limit. Like, there's not a whole lot of material there to make a full movie. And I think that's the biggest, another issue with it.
There was an oopsie. Plane went down. He saved
investigation.
He saved everybody. There was an investigation.
Yeah. It has to add...
He was cleared and... He's hailed a hero.
Yeah. Well, he was hailed a hero before he was even cleared. Yeah. But, and the one thing I actually did love was the constant of Sully's even kind of like inner thoughts you constantly kept seeing was he doubted himself the entire time. Not trying to doubt.
Seems like from the trailers.
Yeah, but he like constantly kept thinking, well, what if I tried to do this? And in fact, it's one of the early scenes throughout the movie. I'm going to spoil a little bit of this movie. And in fact, it's where it gets a little uncomfortable. There is two uncomfortable scenes in this movie. One is because the day which this is coming out, yes, I am American, so 9/11 is a reference for me. Also a personal thing, which I'm not going to get into.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's only a movie about a plane going down on...
Yeah. Oh, no. There was two things, or one thing that really made me do this in my seat was like, I was cringing hard. I was like, oh, God, it's on 9/11 too. But one of the early scenes, he's trying to think about if he had tried to go back to LaGuardia, which is where they took off from. And he's not able to make it. He clips a building with one wings and goes into another one. It's like, oh, yes, this is on 9/11. Oh. But then there was the one thing that somebody said. And I'm not sure if somebody actually did say this to him, and if they did, it's still a little... I know what they were meaning by it, but because of, obviously, especially when Sully came out, they knew they were shooting for 9/11 weekend. One guy said, it's great for New York to finally have some positive news, especially involving jetliners. Oh God, it's just so cringy. He's like, oh, why? I know what you're trying to do and you're trying to be positive, but oh God, it just brings up so much bad memories. And
It's on today of all days.
Yeah, it's
15th.
the 15th anniversary. Oh God, yeah. Like I said, that's another little. That's more might be a personal thing with me. Some people might have no issues with it. To me, it's like a little sad. It's like don't we don't have to remind. No, don't dig in that wound a little. Let's leave it alone. Let's let it just heal. But really, in summation, because I don't want to go on and on about this movie, because I can sit there and talk to you scene for scene like, hey, there's an investigation, but that's kind of it. There's an investigation. It really makes up most of this movie, and they're solely kind of dealing with his own, pretty much PTSD in a way, of a situation, which anybody would, because you're going to constantly second guess yourself, and it's one of the best parts of the movie, him second guessing himself, because it makes him feel very human. It humanizes him.
Yeah, it's very natural for, you know, after something big like that to, you know, kind of, like you said, second guess yourself, and it's like, well, maybe I could have done this, or maybe I should have done this instead, and,
yeah.
you know, kind of like think back, like, well, what could have been done differently?
Yeah, and the one thing I will talk about, like at the very end, they finally actually have the NTSB go through everything, and they prove how, yeah, Sully pretty much had the best idea and saved everybody through it. They showed like, oh, well, these people, or like they had actual pilots go ahead and try it, and they were able to land it on these two different airports. LaGuardia, of course, and the other one, Tottenboro. Sorry, I've never been to New Jersey. I don't know where your airport is right next to New York City.
I was briefly in New
Tottenboro
Jersey.
or something like that.
I was briefly in New Jersey. I could not tell you.
I wouldn't brag that to people.
I'm not bragging.
I wouldn't even mention it. It's like, no, I've been to New Jersey.
We couldn't get away from the Holland Tunnel. That's all I'll say about that.
But, they showed two people doing an NTSB. Guys like, see, Mr. Sully, you're so evil. You're wrong. He's supposed to be twirling a mustache. He's almost comedically anti.
Is that Michael
Sully.
O'Malley's character?
The bald guy?
Don't tell me you don't remember who Michael O'Malley is.
I don't know if that is Michael O'Malley. It looks sort of like him. I was swearing it was, but I don't know if it is because I wasn't paying attention to.
Michael O'Malley is in the movie.
Okay. If it is, it might be him. I just don't know. There's this bald, chubby dude.
That's probably him.
Okay, but yeah, he's pretty much like twirling his mustache, pretty much at it. It's like, and then Sully says the things like, well, give them the same amount of time as having to actually try and see if they can figure out, because we were trying to restart the engines and everything. We were trying to actually not just immediately go around, because he even says like, these people were fed what they needed to do right away. And he even shows, like, they only knew to do that after 17 tries. To immediately just do that. It's like I didn't have 17 tries. I had one. Mm-hmm. And I had to choose immediately right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fact that he, like, saved everybody, you think...
Oh, they don't care.
Like, gotta open an investigation. It's like,
yeah.
If everybody can walk away from it, then what does everything else matter?
That's kind of what Clint Eastwood's trying to hammer through and everything, and he kind of does it a little ham-fistedly. But really, we do understand.
Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything subtly.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Changeling was very subtly boring too. Ugh, God, the movie's so dull. I barely stayed awake during it. Oh, but yeah, Sully. A good movie that it's not America, but it is very Clint Eastwood kind of flating Sully a little bit, but it's nothing
You
bad.
actually use that word correctly.
Yeah, I use flating, right? I know flating.
You actually pronounced it correctly and used it correctly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's gonna snow.
Yes.
You
That
wish.
is so nice. But yeah, other than that, it's a good movie that it just you don't need to see it. I'd say that. It sounds bad. It's like, it's a good movie. You don't really need to see it. If you really want to go see this in theaters, you're not going to walk out disappointed. You're not going to be like, If you...
It's a feel-good movie, like you said.
Yeah, it's one of those movies supposed to give you like, It's not like Red Tails, where whoever's trying to make that was trying to make it a feel-good Tuskegee Airman movie. And, dear God, it was terrible. Oh, Jesus, that movie is such a piece of shit. I was so surprised. I was like, this is going to be okay. Oh, hell, was it worse than okay. But this movie, good. You're going to walk out happy, but I don't think you're going to walk out changed. That's the one thing I can say. It's like, you're not going to walk out feeling like a veil was lifted over your eyes. Or you're just going to walk out like
your life has changed.
Yeah.
Like,
but you're going to walk out like, I watched a good movie. I didn't watch a terrible one. Or I didn't watch a mediocre, boring one. Really, if I was going to give this a grade, early on I think I was leaning towards a 6. Mostly because some stuff was a little ham-fisted. But I think really the final act especially, since it finally does get through everything, and it, even though it is still a little hammy, I think it pulls it off enough, and also thankfully it's short enough that I feel good at a 7. Like, this is a good 7 movie. And even though that sounds terrible comparing it to another movie that is called 7. But yeah, you're going to watch this movie, enjoy it, it's good. Are you going to remember by next week? Maybe a little bit, but you're never going to hate yourself after watching this. So, hey, that was Sully. Next week is one of 2 movies.
Snowden.
Yeah, we're going to see an Oliver Stone's new movie, because Oliver Stone's had a good track record lately. Oh my God.
Or what's the other one?
Their movie's a Blair Witch reboot, remake, sequel, third movie.
I'm actually hoping I'm working that day.
I'm going to
If my manager's watching this, please schedule me to work. I will work, please. Ever since I asked for the day after that off.
I guess see one of those 2. I'm not looking forward to either one.
I said, you're sitting by yourself.
I think it's probably going to be Blair Witch. Not that it's just Oliver Stone is so falling off hard. I can't think of the last good movie he's done. Maybe Black Hawk Down, and that was in 2003. So, yay. Yay, maybe. Hey, Sully was good, so hey, at least there's that. So, I'll see y'all next week, and hopefully this one will be with me, because I'm going to drag her to something.
No.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Adios.